As we come on the air, passengers and airport staff across the country, passengers as well, they are concerned about this 10% reduction in flights. We have new information from right here at Tampa International Airport. Thank you for joining us for this special coverage on 10 Tampa Bay Plus. I'm Courtney Robinson. Well, right now, we know that Tampa International is one of the 40 airports on the list for slashing air traffic. They, and of course you, are still waiting for so much more information from the U.S. Department of Transportation. We're also waiting to hear more from the Federal Aviation Administration as far as how this will work. Here's what we do know. So the FAA says that 40 airports nationwide will see a cut up to 10%, and that will start tomorrow, start on Friday. And that list does include the country's top airports. We're talking not just about Tampa International Airport, but so many others as well, including LaGuardia Airport in New York. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says this is to relieve the pressure on air traffic controllers during the shortage that they have had. They've experienced severe staffing shortages, and we've told you, here at Tampa International Airport, while they didn't have those staffing shortages, they say they were able to operate at normal levels. We did see that impact us here in our community from other airports, that trickle-down effect that we saw. So this is a look at all of the airports we have for you. We'll bring that list up of all the airports that we do know are impacted by this move, according to a preliminary list attained by CBS News as well as the Associated Press. And again, those major cities, those transportation hubs, Hartsfield-Jackson, Atlanta International Airport, LA International, LaGuardia in New York, as I said, they are all on the list, and it goes on and on. Tampa also making up that list. And the cuts would be phased in over time to ultimately reach that 10% mark. In addition to Tampa International Airport's other airports here in Florida are also impacted. Orlando is impacted, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and you can just imagine how that's going to translate for so many people who come here to enjoy our area, who come here to visit our amusement parks, come here to visit our beaches as well. And we've been able to talk with some of those who flew in today about their concerns for getting back home, and we'll have more on that in just a minute. But during this morning's Hillsborough County Aviation Authority board meeting, officials said that a 10% cut to its 600 daily flights would impact about 50 to 60 flights each day. And taking a look at the big board here at home, we are not seeing any cancellations today. I'm told that the TSA checkpoints are moving right along. This change again, phased in starting tomorrow. And the most updated numbers do show that we had 88 delays today, but again, no cancellations. TPA moving along just nicely here. And we last heard from the airport just about an hour ago, and they told us that the airport is waiting for that direction from the FAA on how this is going to work out for them. TPA also confirmed that the Trump administration hasn't released that official list just yet, but they did confirm that they are on it. Tampa International Airport, one of the 27th largest airports in the country, and it operates, as I said, 600 daily flights. That includes both commercial and private. This would impact up to 60 flights a day. And to give you an idea, by a possible 10% reduction, to give you an idea of that, yesterday, airport officials tell me that they had 51,850 passengers come through the airport here. So today, that number is projected 70,500, about that amount coming through today for passengers in and out of the airport. And then tomorrow, that number is expected to be 71,000. And now you can start to imagine just how many people, how many families, businesses could be affected by that. Now, I want to bring in 10 Tampa Bay news reporter Andy Payton. He has been out here all day long. And Andy, you've spoken with passengers too. It's kind of interesting as we've been talking with people. Some don't even know what's going on, and others are very concerned.
Yeah, I mean, people are very confused right now, and I think all of us are as well, as you've sort of expressed here. I think a lot of us thought we were going to have more information by 4 o'clock today when we were starting to hear these things roll out last night. A lot of travelers telling us that they're just really worried about the return flights. So many people coming in here for the weekend, some of them expressing that they might be taking the train home. They just don't know. A lot of this is just so unknown right now. But as much as we're not sure what's going to happen here over this weekend and the next 24 hours, we've actually seen something like this before. We saw this up in New York back in the summer of 2024, where they went in there and they cut flights that weren't full and also utilized larger aircrafts, reducing the number of flights needed. And it was so successful that they're now implementing it here on a national stage to try to solve this problem. Take a listen to this.
So what they're doing is employing the same tool at these 40 major airports across the United States. And one of the big benefits that come out of that is that it restores predictability to the air traffic control system.
Yeah, now as far as what this can mean here in Tampa, an airport spokesperson tells us they're not officially hearing anything from the FAA, as Courtney has sort of reiterated here, and they're just unsure really of what flights are going to be impacted as we head into tomorrow and over the weekend. But if you are traveling, experts are saying you want to make sure you have those alerts on, you want to make sure you're checking on everything.
Right.
But the good news is we have heard from Delta, United Airlines, and American Airlines, and a lot of them are going to waive those fees that you normally see if you needed to change your flight or something like that.
Yeah, you are, and we'll talk a little bit more about passenger rights as well. We have a segment on that coming up, but you are entitled to a refund of your ticket, right? Or if you choose not to travel. If you do choose to travel, then they give you those rebooking options.
Yes.
And so it's nice that some of those fees that some airlines do have are not.
It seems like airlines know we're kind of all in this together. Everyone's having this sort of roll out at the same time, and they do want to help their passengers at this time.
And just for you at home, if you have a trip planned, if you have someone coming in, Southwest Airlines kind of has the hold on the market right here with 25% of flights, and then you have Delta, American, and then United. And you said you heard from Delta.
We heard from Delta, American, and United, as well as Southwest, actually,
Yeah.
and they're all saying that they're going to waive this fee.
Yeah.
Southwest, though, as you said, big one to watch. There's so many flights coming out of here, Southwest specifically, so keep an eye on that if you are a passenger here.
And Tampa International Airport has said just check with the airline. That's the best piece of advice that at this point they're able to give you. Andy, thank you so much, and I know that you're working on some other stuff, so we'll bring you back in just a little bit.
Absolutely. We'll see you around 5 o'clock.
Okay, thanks, Andy. And you're taking a live look out at the Capitol. I think we have that for you. This all goes back to the government shutdown. It remains at a stalemate as it continues to set the record for the longest freeze in history. The Trump administration has said that this reduction in flight capacity is being forced by Congress. He says they're not able to reach an agreement to reopen the government, and that is why we're experiencing what we have. Reporter Karen Kaifa is bringing the latest from Washington on this issue.
As the blame game continues on Capitol Hill,
we will not support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people.
We're just not going to have that conversation while Democrats are holding the federal government hostage.
the next shutdown pressure point could be the nation's airports. The Trump administration says starting Friday, it will cut 10% of air traffic at 40 busy U.S. airports if the shutdown continues. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy told Fox News Thursday it's a safety measure.
This was not a political decision. This was a data-driven decision to make the right calls, to get ahead of any issues that could happen, in the airspace that could have negative consequences.
As essential workers, air traffic controllers are required to be on the job, but are getting their second empty paycheck of the shutdown next week.
These are real people dealing with real life circumstances. And when you don't pay somebody for 37 days and say, hey, just keep showing up and do your best, people are going to have issues, and they're mounting daily.
More than 5 weeks into the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, air travelers have already seen delays mount.
As a traveler, it's very inconvenient for me, but if you're not paying people right, I completely understand.
Some airlines waiving flight change fees ahead of possible disruptions. Meanwhile, the Department of Agriculture revised its guidance on SNAP benefits for November, giving some recipients a boost to their partial payments, but still not the full benefit they rely upon. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
And as you heard from him a little bit inside of that piece from Karen, but we do have more insight from the president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, Nick Daniel. He spoke earlier today about how air traffic control was already really strained before the shutdown, which makes this situation even more critical. Take a listen.
We only have 10,800 certified controllers. We're 3,800 short of what we actually need of 14,633. Controllers are resigning every day now because of the prolonged nature of the shutdown. We hadn't seen that before. And we're also 400 controllers shorter than we were in the 2019 shutdown. The issues are getting worse by every day, and we're taking steps steps are being taken to reduce that capacity of the airspace, mitigate risk where we can, and put the controllers in a position to succeed.
Well, we're also hearing from Republican Senator Ted Cruz. Texas hit hard in this as well. You have Houston as well as Dallas both on this list. Senator Cruz was asked by reporters today about the role that he thinks this reduction could play in negotiations to reopen the government, and he says that he thinks this should put pressure on Democrats.
There is significant chatter that the Democrats are finally going to relent and allow the government to open, and maybe as soon as this week. They should do so. This is irresponsible. It's hurting Americans, and it's dangerous.
Do you think there will be more reductions in flights over the weekend? Have you talked to the transportation
That's certainly
secretary?
a possibility if the Democrats don't allow the government to reopen.
And just within the last hour, we also learned that United Airlines will preemptively cancel roughly 200 flights for Friday. So if you are a United passenger, if you have someone flying United for your business, for your family, make sure that they check as well. Also within the last hour, we learned that, but we are looking as well at some of the other cancellations. We're saying some of the other airlines that are also impacted by this. Southwest is telling us that it will automatically rebook its customers where possible, and they are urging, again, all of you to stay alert to updates. Airlines are saying that they are still awaiting those details as well from the FAA, but most customers are not expected to see changes, is what we're being told. Delta says it will give customers as much notice as possible about any changes that they may experience to their flights. Frontier says that they have a flexible travel policy, and so they're saying anyone traveling during this period who wants to change or maybe cancel their plans can go ahead and do that. Bottom line, again, check with your airline, check your flight status pretty often to get the latest information on that. Now, most, if not all, have that flexibility for passengers who, want to make those changes right now ahead of this being implemented starting tomorrow. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about your rights, your passenger rights, if your flight is among those that is canceled.
Before hurricane season hits, it's time to prep your home. Familiarize yourself with where your water shutoff valve is located. If backflow prevention devices are installed, get them tested annually.
Those are some great tips, and Cool Today is here to help you weather the storm. For over 60 years, we've been here to help Floridians with their cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. We can help you prepare, protect, and repair your home. Call 888-40-TODAY.
I was driving when a Ford pickup truck barreled into me from behind, sending me to the hospital.
I knew my husband was going to need an excellent attorney, so I called Dan Newland.
I'm so glad my wife called Dan. Dan really fought for me. He won my case and got me $650,000.
If you've been involved in a car accident, allow me to fight for you. Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Thanks, Dan, for winning my husband's case.
This autumn, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Save up to 20% during California Closet's Autumn Upgrade event, making it easier than ever to transform your space with our select finishes. Whether it's a walk-in closet, home office, pantry, or garage, our designs are about more than organization. They're about creating space for what belongs. We call it practical magic, expert design that feels effortless. Visit one of our 3 Tampa Bay showrooms or schedule your complimentary consultation today at CaliforniaClosetsTampaBay.com.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. You need quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
Stand by. Welcome back. You are watching special coverage right here on 10 Tampa Bay Plus as we are staying on top of the very latest updates that are coming out about flight reductions to major airports across the country. I'm out here at Tampa International Airport, a busy airport that we see, roughly 68,000 passengers coming through here on average each day. And Tampa International Airport is among those 40 airports, confirming just about an hour ago that they are on that list and that they are still working to get clarity and guidance on exactly how this will be impacted. There are 600 flights at Tampa International Airport every day, and 10% reduction in flights here, 60 flights impacted. So you can imagine how many travelers are going to be affected by that. Nationwide, we're also seeing how travelers are reacting to this issue. Penny Commit is in Boston talking with passengers at Logan International Airport.
I am worried about coming home.
Boston's Logan Airport is filled with anxious travelers after the FAA announced that airlines must slash flights by 10% in 40 high-volume markets. Logan joins Phoenix, Atlanta, and all 3 major New York City airports, all expected to see hundreds of delays and cancellations throughout the coming days. According to the FAA, the reductions would start tomorrow at 4% and raise to 10% by next week.
We are starting to see some evidence that fatigue is building in the system in ways that we feel we need to work towards relieving some of that pressure.
They need to figure their stuff out. They need to figure their stuff out.
Sean Horton is headed to Tampa to watch the Pats take on the Buccaneers. He's already making plans in case he can't make it home Monday.
Enjoy the sun, maybe get a bartending job, depending on how long I'm there for.
Massport confirming they do anticipate delays and cancellations, adding, quote, "Our federal partners have continued to come to work admirably under challenging circumstances, and we remain in close communication with them as well as with our airline partners to minimize disruptions and keep passengers informed." But with no end to the government shutdown in sight, passengers are wondering what this means for the holidays.
I live in Atlanta, busiest airport. I have kids traveling from New York, DC, and Boston for Thanksgiving. I'm just hoping for safety, first of all, and timeliness.
And already, as you just heard, so many people thinking about the holidays, and we know that that's the busiest time of the year for all of these major airports, Tampa included. We do want to bring in Senior Editorial Director Nick Ewan from The Point Sky. Nick joins us now, and Nick, you focus on travel. What are you watching at this moment that's going to have the biggest punch?
Yeah, I think the big thing is just the uncertainty. We frankly don't yet know the full impact of what these cancellations and this drawdown of flights will be. So we're keeping an eye on it. But the bottom line is if you are planning to travel in the next few days, you want to make sure that you've downloaded your airline app, enabled those flight notifications so that you can be told if and when one of your flights is disrupted. And hopefully you can try to get reaccommodated as quickly as possible.
All right, Nick, I want to talk about delays. You can probably touch on this a little bit with the delays that we may experience or that other airports will experience as we kind of try to get through all of this. Are passengers entitled to anything? This is Congress, not the airlines, making this choice.
Yeah, so according to the Department of Transportation, if you do face a significant flight delay or cancellation and you choose not to accept the rebooking that the airline offers, you are entitled to a refund, and that has to be given in a timely fashion. Coming out of the pandemic, we saw a lot of airlines taking extended periods of time to issue those refunds. The issue is that airlines are not obligated to give you any additional amenities, meal vouchers, overnight accommodations. You can always ask, and there's a chance they will offer those, but these delays and cancellations are going to be outside of airlines' control. They're not maintenance related. So chances are you would have to cover any of those additional expenses. But again, it never hurts to ask if you do find yourself facing some of those disruptions. And
Nick, as we look at the numbers that we're going to start to see potentially next week, we were just hearing 4% starting tomorrow, 10% ramping up next week. What are you waiting for next? What are you expecting to happen
Yeah, I think the big question is whether this will either continue or potentially get even worse leading up to Thanksgiving. So we are still a couple weeks out from where that travel is really going to start ramping up around the holiday. We frankly don't know how long this is going to go. And even if it is resolved sometime in the next week or so, it will take some time to sort out all of those passengers that were disrupted and ramp airline operations back up to normal, and then ramp them up to where they need to be to operate successfully over Thanksgiving. So if you are traveling over Thanksgiving, don't freak out yet. But again, plan ahead, download that airline app, really ensure you have those flight notifications set up, because hopefully this won't continue into that holiday period, but there's a chance, unfortunately, that it might.
When do you expect, I'm just curious because you do this for a living and focusing on travel, when do you expect airlines to start to maybe post those and notify customers?
This is kind of unprecedented in that we haven't really seen this system-wide drawdown of flights since, believe it or not, 9/11, which was, of course, a full shutdown of the airspace in the United States. So we really don't know. This is already a very fluid situation. We've even seen airlines issue advisories earlier in the day and then issue new ones within an hour or two. So stay proactive, follow the alerts on your airline's website, make sure that you are keeping track of what's happening, because we frankly don't yet know. This is going to be changing on a daily, if not hourly basis as we get into tomorrow, into the weekend, and then into the weeks leading up to Thanksgiving.
And Nick, that's great advice. Is there anything else that you want people to know about just quickly?
I think the big thing, if you're traveling this weekend, pack your patience, but also remember a little grace goes a long way. If you are disruptive, I promise you that the gate agent or the customer service agent is not going to help you if you're screaming at them or you lose your temper. So try to keep those emotions in check. It's going to be a potentially challenging situation, but it's important to really remember to keep your cool.
Yeah, that's great advice too. Nick Ewan from The Points Guy, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us today. Just over an hour ago, we also spoke with our aviation expert here at 10 Tampa Bay News, Mark Weinkrantz, and he gave us a take on how the airports will see the biggest impact. Listen.
The airlines are stating that they're not going to let them impact the hub-to-hub, the heavy traffic areas, which kind of goes against the whole idea of this thing. So the only other thing they can sacrifice will be some of the feeder airlines, which won't impact the city people as much as it does the rural population. If they only have 10 slots an hour for an airline to put into Boston or New York or Miami, are they going to put in the max load airplane that can carry 300 people or an aircraft that can carry 60? This is just basic economics, and the feeder cities will probably be the ones that'll be punished the most.
And Mark has decades of experience in air travel. He also told us how this will impact local airports that may not be on this list. That includes St. Pete Clearwater International Airport.
Tampa also, we hear Tampa Airport, but we don't see St. Pete Clearwater there. Well, be assured, it's still under Tampa radar control. And if they're limiting the aircraft that can come in and out of the area, it would be unwise for people to believe that just because they're flying Allegiant out of St. Pete Clearwater, that they won't be impacted as well.
And as we were just talking about with Nick, this goes beyond the list. It's impacting people's holiday plans and how you'll consider those, and also any connecting flights as well. Listen to what Mark had to say.
It's anybody's guess how they're going to pick the 10%. By the airline stating that it's not going to interfere with the hub-to-hub operations. Well, that means Miami to LA is going to be fine. But what about from Topeka to Chicago? You know, for somebody to get from Chicago to Amsterdam or to Thailand or wherever else their business or their vacation plans take them.
Well, we're live out here at Tampa International Airport, keeping tabs on how this will impact our community and the passengers flying in and out of TPA. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, you'll see just how much volume our airport sees this time of year.
This autumn, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Save up to 20% during California Closet's Autumn Upgrade event, making it easier than ever to transform your space with our select finishes. Whether it's a walk-in closet, home office, pantry, or garage, our designs are about more than organization. They're about creating space for what belongs. We call it practical magic, expert design that feels effortless. Visit one of our 3 Tampa Bay showrooms or schedule your complimentary consultation today at CaliforniaClosetsTampaBay.com.
With a fresh new look and over 60 years of keeping Floridians comfortable, Cool Today is the name to trust for fast same-day service. Cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Our friendly expert technicians take the hassle out of home repair today. And Cool Today is here for you tomorrow, too. That's why we're introducing a parts and labor warranty on select AC systems for a lifetime. For cooling, plumbing, or electrical service, get the best from today and for years to come. Cool Today.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. You need quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
I was driving when a Ford pickup truck barreled into me from behind, sending me to the hospital.
I knew my husband was going to need an excellent attorney, so I called Dan Newland.
I'm so glad my wife called Dan. Dan really fought for me. He won my case and got me $650,000.
If you've been involved in a car accident, allow me to fight for you. Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Thanks, Dan, for winning my husband's case.
You are watching special coverage here on 10 Tampa Bay Plus as we are staying on top of the cuts that the FAA is placing, making reductions to air traffic. Starting tomorrow, that's looking like it'll be about 4% of flights impacted, and then that ramps up next week. Now, we do know that Tampa International Airport looks to be on that list. They say that they could potentially face up to the 10% cut. We have 68,000 passengers on average that come through this airport daily. So there will be some disruptions. What that will look like, though, is still unknown. We still are working to get those answers and waiting for the airport as well as the Department of Transportation as well as the FAA to release those details. But passengers say they're trying to work around it. It's really the confusion that is causing the most angst here. And again, we're working to get as much information as we can. It's going to be a little bit go-in here when it comes to Tampa International Airport and our other major airports, Orlando and Miami as well for Florida. We'll have more for you coming up on 10 Tampa Bay News at 5 if you stay right here. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you then.